Hello everyone, here we are on the last day of July already, and today I'm using as usual, Silk Pearl 12. I use a lot of this in sort of summer green and autumn browns, being as we are on the transition here between summer and autumn. In my little world, the 1st of August is the first day of autumn. I know it's still hot, but you can see the light starting to change, and you can see the harvests are coming in, and you can see sometimes the trees starting to turn, and sometimes you can feel that slight chill first thing in the morning. And just as I'm thinking about it, you can see that I'm just doing a fairly ragged row of straight stitch, and as usual I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do next but then do any of us, you know, I guess that's life, isn't it? Don't know what's coming next. And this appears to be wanting to curve this way, so I'm going to let it. And if you're doing straight stitch like this, you just have to be careful about your tension, because if you pull too tight, you're going to get a little ridge forming underneath these stitches. So just keep I'm just keeping one finger underneath, and periodically I'm just giving it a little stretch just to make sure it's not too tight. Right, so that appears to be the end of that row. Just going to bring it back up there, just have a look. So we've got lots of choices here. We could do echoing lines of that. We could do crisscrossing lines of that. I'm not going to do that because I did that fairly recently with running stitch. So I think probably I might just, I don't know. You know, if in doubt, do the same thing again, is my maxim. So I'm just going to turn this round so that it's easier to manoeuvre, so my hand isn't in the way all the time. So maybe I might not echo that line exactly. Let's see how it looks. What's the worst thing that could happen? There's no such thing as a disaster here, so you can see I've pulled that tight trying to pull that end out, but if you just give it a little stretch, it'll be fine. Same with us, you know, if you're feeling a bit tight, have a little stretch, you'll feel much better. It amazes me how much like a person cloth is, or maybe how much like cloth people are. That's a better way of looking at it, isn't it? Right, just got to the end of that thread, so I'm just going to get some more thread and then we'll see what we're going to do next. Okay, there's another length of thread here, so ready to go again, and I'm just going to do a third. Wibbly wobbly line of straight stitches, I think. And you could vary the length of these stitches as well, I guess. You could make them, you know, make them go longer and shorter, and you'd end up with a thick and thin line. Maybe I should have done that. then we don't really say things like should, do we? Because it is what it is, and it's allowed to be whatever it is. Just fill in that little stitch, there's one missing. That's it. Just pull that through. And let's just curve this up a little bit. Okay, I'm just having a look at it, and I've got some thread left. And as you know, I don't like half an end of thread. I like to use the whole thing. And I'm thinking what I might do is just self-couch a little line in between these. So I'm just going to sort of coax a line into shape there. I'm going to leave enough give on it to make it a little bit wavy. And I'm just going to stitch that down. Looks like there was just about enough give on that curve. That's just fitted nicely. That's just practice. If you find you've left a bit too much slack, you can make it more curved. If you get so far along and it's a little bit tight, you could just backtrack and ease a bit more thread out. I'm going to do the same there. Let's see if I can do it again. So I'm just coaxing it and letting it lie where I want it to go. And then I'm just going to stitch it down. That one's not quite so curved, but then neither is that space. So I think that's okay. And that's probably the end of the thread. So now I just need to decide whether I'm going to do anything in the corners. Okay, more thread in the needle, and you know these points where you have to choose or decide what you're doing next. Tell me what you would do at this point. There's no right or wrong, just whatever strikes you as reasonable is fine. And I'm doing this the wrong way around, but what I've decided to do, like I said, if in doubt, just do the same thing again. I'm going to fill the whole thing with this pattern, and that's because I can't really see what else I could put in the corners without making it overcomplicated. You know, if you introduce another colour or another pattern at this point, I think it might look a little bit overdone. So I'm just going to turn this round because I've started at that end and I should have started at this end really to come back that way. I'll just get that positioned and then I'll turn it to where I can get at it. Okay, so I've just laid that thread down. I'm just kind of coaxing it to make sure it will lie in a curve. I think it will. And I'm just going to stitch that down exactly as I did for the others. I don't know if you can hear this pigeon on the roof. We get so many of them, these big wood pigeons. They eat everything. They're a nuisance, frankly. I mean, I like wildlife, you know, and we like to attract wildlife into the garden. And we have, you know, quite a good variety. We've got a little frog in the pond, and we have hedgehogs visiting, and we have foxes visiting, not living in the garden. And we have a variety of little songbirds, and we have pigeons. Pigeons and, oh, I was going to say cats, but there are going to be cat lovers out there, aren't there? I'm just turning this live, sorry. Got nothing against cats, but I don't like them in my garden. Pigeons are the thing I would see off first. Right, so I'm just filling in this corner. Just for continuity, really. And then I think there's a tiny little corner we might fill in there. And the same up the top. And then I think we're done, aren't we? Let's just fill that in there. And I think there might just be enough thread just to do that, fill in that top corner as well. So I'll just move the needle up there and finish that off. So I've just brought the thread up into this corner. I'm just going to tweak that a little bit. And just stitch that down, and then we can just fill in some straight stitches in that corner. I'm kind of doing a little bit of thread chicken there, but I think there's enough. Let's see. I'll be annoyed if there isn't. Plenty. There you go. Right, let's just fasten that off on the other side. The back of this one is quite attractive as well. Very similar to the front, I suppose. Slightly messier, and actually I sometimes I prefer the messier version that is on the back. Sometimes the front looks a little bit too tidy to me. A couple of little stitches there to anchor that, and we can snip that off. And let's have a look. Right way up. There we go. I think that's probably good enough. So then we've got August starting here tomorrow. My path through August is going to be quite convoluted. I'm going to go up here along the top, and then you can't see, up and along and down here, and September will start, I think, here. Anyway, that's let's do it one day at a time, eh? So tomorrow we're going to go over the border into August, and let's see what August brings us. So enjoy your stitching today, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.